Hey guys, what is up? We are finally back from my vacation and ready to make some more videos. Today, we have a great one coming at you. We are doing my tips and tricks for finding good breeders without ever seeing one of their animals. Of course, this does not mean that you shouldn't ask for some pictures of, the babies, the mother, father, whatever, to see the reptile you are purchasing. But this is a way to tell if you got a good breeder and to move on to those picture questions. So we're going to get to that. Also, real quick, I had my first live stream today. Thank you for you guys stopping by. A lot more turnout than I thought there would be. I always undervaluate myself, but I love the conversation. I have a great time. So I'm thinking about maybe doing that weekly. I've been thinking a lot about what it's going to be like during my semester. I'm worried that I'm not going to have too much time. So what I might end up doing is posting twice a week instead of the intended 3 times a week, and then stream also once a week. The schedule would probably be, I think, Saturday and Wednesday for video posts, and then Sunday for the live stream. Let me know what you think about that. I think I'm going to go that direction. But anyway, guys, let's get to it. Let's talk about those tips and tricks. Hi, I'm Thrall, and I think you should like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. There is so much good content on here, and I love these reptiles so much. You don't even know, guys. I'm so in love with these reptiles. I actually absolutely adore them. Anyway, guys, check that lower right-hand corner, hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that bell so you're notified with more updates. Alright, the first step to finding any answer is to ask questions, and that's exactly what you want to start with. You want to go ahead and you want to ask questions in different Facebook groups, different communities that are reptile-oriented, and see what they recommend in terms of reptile breeders. That way you can create a short list of the reptile breeders you are interested in. Obviously, if you have a particular reptile in mind, that's how you want to start your inquiry. You want to say, hey, I am looking for a blue-tongued skink. Can someone recommend me some good breeders? And usually if you're posting in a popular Facebook group or some popular community, you'll hear a couple names a couple times. And those are the people you probably want to shortlist. Obviously, you can determine how long your shortlist is going to be. I usually will go 3 to 5 people, but that's my first step in any good step to finding a solution, is ask questions and get some basic answers. So you want to do that initial inquiry step and find some initial names that you could do more of a hard inquiry for. Alright, now that we have our short list of people, we want to do more of a hard inquiry and look into the background of their businesses, see what people actually have to say about them. So this is a step where you want to look more so into Facebook groups, use that search engine in Facebook, Reddit, whatever, use Google, type in their names, their business, check their social media sites, their reviews if they have them up, and see what people are saying. You want to look for some of the top negative reviews and the top good reviews, and then keep those in mind moving forward. You just want to be able to take away the negative experiences and sort of the positive experiences. You want to extract sort of the main topics. So if someone commonly is bad at shipping, you want to look through reviews and see that. If that's a common theme, you want to keep that in mind, because that's something you might want to bring up later if you continue with them and want to talk to them more so, which will be one of our next steps.
Good.
Was that a good one? Do you think I covered that well?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Alright, your next step, this is really uncomfortable, is you're going to want to message the top people you choose. Oh my god, I have an update. Anyway, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to message the people from your short list that you want to continue with. You investigated them more so. You might want to continue with all 5 of them and message them just to play it safe. But if you narrow it down a couple more, that's kind of what the hard inquiry step is about, just to see the people who have the reviews to back it up and such, and you make you feel the most comfortable. Obviously, you can also rearrange your short list in terms of who you think your top person is and prioritize them first, but the next step is to message them. And we'll talk about some subtopics or subcategories for that, I guess, what you want to ask them and talk to them about. So let's get to that next. Alright, so the first thing you really want to ask them, at least the first thing I asked them, is what their history is with that particular animal and just breeding in general, or just in reptiles. You want to ask them how long they've been breeding, what got them into reptiles. You really want to see their passion come out. Passion is so important in finding a good breeder. The good breeders are always the most passionate. So you want to see that come through in your message, and you kind of want to bring that passion out of them when talking to them. So you want to see their past, you want to talk about their operation, what they have going on there, and just really hear their history, hear their story. After after you sort of hear their story, you want to start phasing in some husbandry questions. You want to make sure they know their stuff. Obviously, if things are going well so far, you probably have a good inclination that they do know it. But asking some basic husbandry questions about the animals they breed and the animal you're interested in particular, means they know how to take care of their animals. Thus, probably a higher chance of producing some good quality reptiles. Next, you want to ask about resources they might have contributed to or made. I have an Ask the Expert series where I include a lot of breeders to give some feedback on basic husbandry questions. They could reference that and pass that along to you. Maybe they made some care sheets. Maybe they were featured in a magazine for reptiles. Ask for that stuff. They'll show it to you, they'll be proud to show it to you, and a lot of the good breeders have some sort of things they can show you, a website, whatever, with information and more stuff on the reptiles they breed and take care of. Finally, it is maybe time to bring up some of your concerns and worries you had while doing that hard inquiry step. Did they have a very common negative theme that you are worried about? Maybe reptiles not making it through shipping or whatever. Ask them about it. Ask if, they recognize this negative thing about their business. A lot of the good ones will admit and say, like, hey, this was a problem in the past, I worked on it. If they try to cover it up, that's a little sketchy. You might be somewhat worried if they don't address it or are kind of acting weird when you bring it up. But don't feel or be afraid to bring up some negative things that you have issues with. This is a living thing. This is going to be an addition to your family, and you want to do it right. But this is the time now, after you got to know them a little bit, discuss some husbandry stuff, ask them about the negatives, ask them about any concerns you had from that hard inquiry step. Lastly, about the message step, whether it be over email, messenger, whatever, the things you want to keep in mind is how they're acting towards you when answering these questions. Are they seemingly happy to answer your questions? Do they answer within a reasonable amount of time? All this stuff is very important in determining a good breeder, because those that really care about your business are the good breeders. So you want to make sure they don't give short answers and they really care about you as a customer. So keep that in mind as you do the previous messenger steps. Finally, the last step to determine a good breeder without actually seeing any of their reptiles is to ask about their shipping methods and their payment methods. This is very important, especially before seeing any reptiles, before you fall in love with them, because you want to know how they're taking payments, you want to know how they're shipping, and you want to make sure that's all going right, because if it's not, that's a killer right there on the sale. You want to make sure, if they're asking PayPal, family and friends, are you okay with that? Those are things to think about, because that's a big deal breaker, like I just said. You want to make sure they're shipping the right way with live animals, live reptiles overnight, stuff like that if they're not in your area. And if they are in your area, you want to make sure you set up a good meeting point and make sure both parties agree so there's no confusion. But that's really a big step before seeing any reptiles, because you don't want to fall in love before you kind of understand how the business aspects are going to go. But now that you did all that, now's the time you really can go ahead and check out their reptiles, ask for some pictures, see the mother and father, know what you're in for. Now's the time to do that. But everything before seeing that I just said is really important in finding a good breeder. This is how I do it, and I am always very confident in the breeder I choose, just from those steps without even seeing a reptile. Really seeing the reptiles is just so I can pick out which one I kind of like and have a feel towards, seeing their parents, what they're going to become. But yeah. Alright guys, so that's about it for this video. I thought I would talk a little bit about my process in determining a good breeder and how I really figure out who the good breeders are without even seeing any of their reptiles. So, I think that's a good thing to talk about and bring up to you guys. It's very, basic and straightforward in terms of how you go about it though. But I do think it's nice to make it into a video. But anyway guys, if you were watching my live stream on Sunday, you would have known that we finally got Destin's, oh my god, another update. We finally got Destin's enclosure upgrade. This is it, 18 inches by 18 inches by 36 inches. I am super excited to finally get to this, build him a nice vivarium, get some live plants in there, do some decorations, the whole shebang. I've been meaning to upgrade him ever since last winter, and I've always been kind of down about how his current setup is. Not that he's suffering or anything, he's doing fantastic, but I just really want to put him in something he can go crazy in. So this will be an upcoming video very soon. I will be hard at work on this vivarium this week, so you will see that coming up and a lot more to come. Thanks guys, make sure to subscribe, check that lower right hand corner, hit that bell, see you next time. Alright Weenie, to completely confirm that you love the reptiles, pick this hand if you love them, pick this hand if you don't. Go. Don't look at her, look at me, focus on me, I know she's recording. You like the reptiles? You don't like the reptiles? Are you gonna pick? You gotta pick one. He's like camera shy.